Alright, hey everyone, Henry here again, and welcome to my 100 sub special. Today we'll be trying to create the Hunter and Mabel with clay. Fimo. Not exactly green. I have some blue and some white, some brown and some black. Don't have much left of black, but anyway, let's toss them aside real quick. I actually have some older figures I made a few years ago. They don't look that good, but I'll be able to use them as a reference while building, which really helps. Alright, I think that's all. So let's get started. First of all, I'll be mixing some silver clay with some black clay to get the dark silver color of the helmet. The silver clay was some clay that I had laying around for quite some time, so it got pretty hard, and getting it soft again was, well, not a pleasant task. Now we'll take some white clay and we'll mix it with some blue. This will be for Mabel later, so I'll need a pretty light blue color. I opened up a new blue package extra for this video. I also ordered some new clay for this video. For Mabel, I went with quite a different approach on her. Her model is not the same from the game. You'll see what I mean further down in the video. Even though we mixed the color right now, we'll put it aside for now and start working on the head of the hunter. We'll take some black and silver again, but this time we'll take more black than silver so the clay actually stays black. This is for the head underneath the helmet, and because you can never see his face, we'll make a black block with a silver tone in it. Now we're making the clay into an actual block. I cut away the sides and used one of my old figures for size reference. I'm also adjusting it with my knife so that the block is an actual block. You will see me use this knife quite often in this video because I don't just use it for cutting, let me say that much. And here we have the finished block. Now we'll add the details to the head. We'll start with the front of the helmet. Here I'm just flattening out the dark silver clay so I can cut some square pieces out of it. Some pieces are sometimes a bit too big, so I'll have to cut them and make them even smaller. Now you see what I mean with I don't just use my knife for cutting. I am actually picking up pieces and adjusting them with just my knife. It's quite handy. Here are the bars on the right and the left side. And we're done with the front. Don't worry, we'll add more details later on. For now, we'll work on the side pieces of the helmet. I again flattened out some clay, laid the helmet on it and cut it out. Though first time was a bit too thick, so I made it a bit thinner. The sides don't have as much detail as the front, but there are still some things we'll have to do. As you can see here, there's still a small gap where the black shine shines through. We'll have to do this on both sides of the helmet. And here comes my very next handy tool. A silicone adjuster? Well, anyway, the tip is made out of flexible rubber and that makes it very easy for me to connect the pieces. Now that all of the sides, including the back and the top, are done, we can add some more details. We'll start with the feathers on the back of his helmet. I won't detail them too much because you won't really see them later on. You'll see what I mean by that. Now that that's attached, I'll cut out another little square to connect it with the top of the head. That was quite difficult because I always squished the clay too hard. But that's okay because, again, you won't see much of it when the figure is done. Now we'll add the red feather on the left side of his helmet. This actually proved to be a bit difficult because the squares I cut out were always a bit too big. But in the end it worked out fine, and the red color really catches the eye. It looks pretty good. Now we'll just add a little silver piece to hold the feather, and done. Gotta do some cleaning here. Now just adding a bit of structure to it, and we're ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked head. I also made two holes on his head. The first one is up here, and the second is down here. We'll put wire into them later on. Just gotta drill them open a bit because they closed a bit during baking. Now we'll work on the wiring. I again use my old figure for size reference. When I started making figures, I never put wire in them, and let me tell you, if you ever want to start making figures, give your figures a proper skeleton. It makes working on them so much easier and they are much more sturdy. There are really no downsides. Now we'll take some blue clay again to work on the body of the hunter. Now I don't know if that blue is the exact blue the hunter wears on the map, but for me it's close enough. Though keep in mind that Fimo gets a tad bit darker after baking. Nothing major, but take it into consideration. Now we're working on the legs. They were way too big at the start, but fortunately that's also no big deal. I just want to say sorry for the camera quality. I got no professional camera, so I had to film with my phone. I hope you can still enjoy the video. Now we'll take some silver clay again. This will be his shoes. As you might remember, in the map he has iron boots, so the color fits. Now I'm cutting out a piece of his chest plate. This is where you can see his skin. I made that hole a bit too big and will close it off a bit right after I add the skin. Though for that you'll have to wait a bit longer, because we'll add some more details to his chest plate first. Starting with this piece of cloth right here. We'll add this right under his chest plate. Right there. Alright, looks good. And now I mix some dark blue, which I will put in the middle of the chest plate. And now I'll carve in some details on his chest plate. Well, carving is a strong word, more like drawing. Now to his legs. The leather leggings in Minecraft has these two brown circles around the knees, which I'm currently adding. One done, I'll add the other, and after that we're ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked hunter, and as you can see, I added some wire to his arms. This is where we'll put on the clay in just a moment. And here you have the finished head with all the new details. Looks pretty cool. But now, we'll finally mix the skin color. I'm taking some white and a tiny bit of red, and that gives us this beautiful skin color which we'll use. First of all, I'm making the arms by cutting out 2 long blocks of clay. Gotta adjust them a bit, drill a hole and see if it fits. Nope, it doesn't. Make it a bit smaller, and there you go. Now for the skin in his chest plate. You'll see what I mean with the hole is too big in just a second when I add the head. There. Glad I noticed it right away and closed it off a bit with some extra blue clay. And don't worry, even though I'm closing it off right now, I'll close it off even further later on off camera. But for now, this is that. Now we'll work on Mabel. It's a different day from when I mixed the clay, so I wrapped it up in aluminum foil. Still soft, so that's good. First I cut some square blocks again, and what you might already see is that her body is longer than a normal LA. That's what I mentioned earlier. I went with a different approach on Mabel and made her look a bit different. Here I'm making her garment? I don't really know what it's called, but I'm making it right here. And now I'm connecting her to his head. My idea is that she kind of sleeps on his head, so she's holding on to him while he's walking and, well, probably searching for some monsters to slay. But wait, Mabel still needs some eyes, so let's fix that real quick. Made the eyes a bit thinner and curved because it should really look like she's sleeping, but it also looks like she's just happy. So either way, it's good. Now I'm using a paper clip to connect her head to the body. I'm using a paper clip because the green wire is way too thick. The wire from the paper clip is not as strong, but still very strong and way thinner. There you go. Now we just need her arms. For that, I simply just roll 2 clay sausages and put them on her body. Simple, but effective. I love how it looks like she's resting on her left arm. That wasn't really planned, but it just worked out so perfectly. Now I'm adding 2 holes in her back. This is where the wire will go for her wings after baking. All done, so we'll put these 2 in the oven real quick. And while they're baking, we'll start working on the sword. First thing we'll do is mix some brown with white to get some light brown. Now, while building the sword, let me talk a bit about you guys and the channel. First of all, thank you all for watching my content and subscribing to me along the way. 100 subs is something very special to me. It's the first major milestone you break as a YouTuber. And it only goes up from here. Thanks everyone. Now to the channel. Sometimes the algorithm helped me and sometimes it didn't. But I'm still happy that all the videos are still doing relatively well. Happy you enjoy what I do, and I will keep delivering some cool stuff. Will also edit the videos more and better than I already have, trust me. Also, I'm making great progress on the Monster Hunter 2. It's just so much more than the first map. We'll work hard on it and deliver you a cool sequel. Now back to the creation. This part here was pretty difficult for me to figure out. I had the picture of the sword, but it still didn't help, so I was a bit confused. But in the end, I kinda managed to get it right. Well, decent looking. Now we're just adding these blocks right here and fill it up with some more light brown clay. Same on the other side. Now I chopped off the bottom part of the sword because I want to glue it on later. That wasn't such a wise decision, you'll see. Sword is a bit big, but it looks cool. Alright, Mabel and Hunter are done baking, so we'll start working on the wings. Of course, these paper clips are still way too big. We'll cut them down in just a moment. I just have to put them in these holes to see if they still fit, which fortunately they do. And here we have the wire pieces in the right size. As you can already see, the wings are bent down where the ones in the game are bent up at the start. Again, a design choice by me because it made her look a bit more angel-like, which I like. Now we'll cover the wire pieces in clay. My method here is that I first cover it with way too much clay and then take some of it off bit by bit. And so I'm left with perfect amount of clay on the wire. Now we'll add the actual wings. For that I'm just cutting out some small blue blocks and put them on. It's very simple actually. And don't forget to connect. And now I'll add some more blue blocks. And after that, the first wing is actually done. Let's see if it fits. It does. And the camera just can't focus. I'm sorry guys. I'm adding the second wing off cam, and after that, we're ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked Hunter and Mabel. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. The last thing we'll have to do now is to glue on the sword. For that I used some glue which didn't work. This one right here. Shouldn't have done that. Yep, hurts to see it here. Well, the sword fell off again and again, and it was a huge mess. I used some epoxy after that, and then it finally worked. But now, the moment you've been waiting for. Here is the finished figure. I think it looks so cool, and I'm especially happy on how Mabel turned out. Let me know if you liked this video, and sorry again for the video quality. Filming this was just a huge mess. Well, anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, comment down below if you have some more ideas on what to do in the future. Maybe I'll do Lara for another sub special. For that you'll have to smash the like and sub button. So, yeah, I'm out. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye!